Hey gang, who is somebody you've always known, who's always nearby, but you might not even know this person exists? Well, coming up on today's Confessions of an Online Psychic, we're going to talk about spirit guides.
And now for another episode of Confessions of an Online Psychic. With your host, novelist, filmmaker, and authentic psychic, Dave Thompson.
But first, real quick, I want you to go click on like, click on subscribe, and hit the little bell button so that way you are notified when a new episode of Confessions of an Online Psychic is made public. Also, if you haven't already, please go join my Facebook group where I share a lot of tidbits that are not shared here. And if you could also click on my Patreon link, that way, I can afford to keep, doing this stuff. All right. Let's talk about spirit guides. Some people call them guardian angels. Some people call them teachers. But what they are the people in spirit who accompany us through our life. They are in the non-physical and we are in the physical. And they assist us in our journey through this physical life. Have you been looking at some of the videos that have been uploaded from, say, some baby cams, and there's a child in the crib, and he seems to be interacting with somebody you can't see? Perhaps there's a mist forming around the crib at the time. Well, and then when the child begins to talk, these things become an invisible friend. I had an invisible friend. I'm sure you did too. What these really are, they're the spirit guides. They're the people who are with us all the time. Sometimes we have just one, sometimes we have two. And in my case, I've had several in a succession. There would be one guide for a while, and then guide would go away, another guide would show up. A little bit later, I'm going to go into detail about who is around me right now. But let's talk about, some misconceptions that surround the topic of spirit guides. And one of them is that you only have one your entire life. Well, in my case, I've had several. And depending upon the stage I was going through, when I'm going through a stage where I'm writing, there is a spirit guide near me who's good with writing. I wish I could find a spirit guide who is good with spelling. Oh well. And the other misconception is that the spirit guides are always the deceased relative. Well, yes, we often get people from our family who have passed on, and they will come by and they will visit or they will hang out with us. But that doesn't mean that they are a spirit guide. Yes, they will give you advice. Yes, they may help you with answers. But for the most part, they're just there. They're checking in on you. The true spirit guide is usually with you from the moment of birth or a little bit before, clear up and until you cross over. Sometimes I encounter people's spirit guides when I'm doing a reading, and they begin to pass along information to me, information that they feel the person I'm reading needs to hear. And sometimes they block information that I'm not supposed to pass along to the person I'm reading. There's something coming up. I see something coming up, but I can't get a really good handle on it. And that's because their spirit guide is blocking me from fully seeing it, because they want to see how their pupil, how the human that they're working with reacts to the situation. We are not graded on what we do or how we react. No, pardon me. We are not graded on exactly what we do. We are graded on how we react to situations and what we might be learning. Now, I do need to tell you, there's a couple of funny jokes. There was one that I saw a couple of years ago where a guy is walking downtown in a busy city, say like here in Los Angeles, maybe up in Burbank, crowded streets, and he's getting ready to step off the curb, and a voice says, "Don't do that, you'll get hit." And he stops, and as he steps back, a bus blasts right past him. And he's confused, and then he crosses the street. And he's crossing the street. He's going, "Okay, who are you?" "Oh, I'm your guardian angel," came the voice. God goes, "Really? What are you there for?" "Well, I'm to keep you out of trouble. I'm to keep you from harming yourself." "Oh, all right. Well, if you're to keep me out of trouble, where the hell were you when I was getting married?" Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about the guide, or rather the semi-guide, who is around me currently right now. His name is Daniel. And the difference between him and other guides is that Daniel is not quite a guide. He is there to assist me in things. He's there to assist me in things I need to do. He's there to assist me with clients. When somebody comes to me for a reading, sometimes he shows up instead of their guide, and he passes along information. This is the odd part. He is basically a spiritual father. From that point of view, I don't mean like, in the church where they say our spiritual father. I mean in spirit form, he is the one who actually created me, him and one other person. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I don't think I even want to know, quite frankly. It's one of the most bizarre concepts I've encountered, and I've encountered a hell of a lot of bizarre concepts. But besides him, there is a young woman. She shows up to me as a child. Blonde hair, twinkle in her eyes, and she wears a frilly little dress. Looks to be about maybe 6, 7, sometimes 9 or 10. This is not really a spirit guide. She's a teacher, but she's also what's called an avatar. She has been around me. She's been around 2 other people that I know, my clients, one of whom I'm still working with almost on a daily basis with some issues. And Daniel is also working with her, rather working with the person that needs more work on. I'm not at a liberty to say who it is or why, but Daniel has been working on this other person, this young man. And I was asked the other day, I said, my friend asked me, he says, "Well, what's going on with that? How come X isn't coming through? What's happening?" I said, well, and I picked this up from Daniel. He needs to be hit upside the head with a 2x4 to get his attention. And a 2x4 in astral is not near as effective as a 2x4 in the physical realm. So that's my guy, Daniel. Those of you who know me will know also that Daniel will sometimes appear to one of my clients as my clients are becoming more attuned and they're beginning to develop their psychic abilities, becoming more and more attuned. Well, guess what? He will start showing up to help you with this, if you desire. He shows up differently to different people, but I know when they're talking about the real Daniel and when they're talking about somebody else. I had another person who told me that I needed to stop with my online offers and focus only on movies. So I said, well, who said this? And the person goes, Daniel did. I go, okay. I think about that for a minute. I said, what did he look like? And she described somebody that Daniel has never appeared to me as. He has appeared in a different way to other people. I see him as just this guy. Other people may see him looking a little bit like a wizard. And he is an ancient spirit. He and I have been incarnating on this planet for a lot longer than we care to admit. He has informed me that my incarnation history goes back several previous civilizations, not just this civilization. There's none of this, oh, I was, a pharaoh or something like that. I don't know who I was. He won't tell me. He did let me know who he really is. And if you work with me and you need to work with Daniel, then I'll let you know. Now, as far as meeting your spirit guides go, the best way to meet your spirit guides is to practice meditation. I do a type of meditation where I listen to audios, and the audio track will help assist me into a deep state known as theta. I will go into alpha when I do readings with people, but I often need to access different planes of existence, and I can do so through the theta state. I have a set of audios. I'll put a link below here so you can click on them and download the audios in which I teach you to meet your spirit guide. I also have several other audios which teaches you to go into astral, teaches you how to go into higher self, and then just some audios that just help teach you meditation and past life contacts. Okay, so that's it for this week's episode of Confessions of an Online Psychic, Connecting with Guides, and episode 207. Now remember, before you leave, please click subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time.